smoking funky beat. They used to hang out all night and just gang fight, leaving bodies all over the street. But now it's hip hop, break dance and pop, electric boogie just won't stop. Everything in the town is built around that cutting, scratching, and hip hop sound on Beat Street. Beat Street. Kenny is a DJ known as Double K, and he says he's gonna make it someday on Beat Street. Beat Street. A creative innovator to his heart. His name is Ramon, and his specialty is art on Beat Street. Beat Street. Henry is a drummer and an ex-marine. As a strange singer patient to the Beat Street scene on Beat Street. Beat Street. Music is a language understood, and the goal is to make it to Hollywood. Some tape it, play it, dance or spray it on the walls, on the halls, and some just say it on Beat Street. On Beat Street. Spinning on the sidewalk, trying to make a buck. Little brother Lee's gonna need a little luck. He's a breakdance spinner, contest winner, but just like the rest, he's looking for a break on Beat Street. Beat Street. If you don't know what hip hop is about, then stop, looking, listen, and check this out. Beat Street. 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 Play that beat. Funky your beat.
Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships, one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to podcasts on iTunes and on podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Del Vecchio. With me, as always, is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey, friends.
Hello, everyone, and Dan.
I need to put some stank on that one. What did I do?
No, I just welcome back, buddy. So basically, not anything real topic wise. I just had to start while watching the movie we watched today because it's come up with a couple other movies we've done. It's weird watching these movies that were actually shot in their time period because my brain every so often forgets that it's not like a period piece movie, and I go, oh man, this is so lame. They're just making fun of the culture, and then my brain clicks in and goes, oh, wait, no. This was actually, like, the time period of that. Now, could they have been, like, make it a little lame and cringe anyway? With what they were showing? Sure. I wasn't alive then. I'm not sure. But it's just a weird phenomenon I think I had this with this movie. And there was another one where, some song came on and I was like, oh, that's a great needle drop. And then realized it was probably just a popular song when the movie came out. It was just weird. It's just a phenomenon that I guess is maybe exclusive to us, like this type of podcast, where you're going back and watch.
Don't bring us into this. This is all you. This is your phenomena. So okay. You're telling me that you must be baffled every week. Rarely do we watch a movie that's like as recent as 2010. Mark, every time he watches a movie, thinks it's from 2021.
No. I guess to explain it slightly better, it's only been really with the 80s movies because it's such a distinct look and feel to those movies compared to other time periods of movies we'd watched. It's just a weird thing. I will completely admit that it's just me, 100%. But yeah, I had that thought today, like when they show up one point, the guy's wearing the Kango hat with the big glasses on, and I'm just like, oh, that's just like a caricature, and I'm like, wait, no, that's probably was the cool thing then. It just happened. It's my brain. My brain's. I mean, if you listen to this podcast long enough, you know how fucked up my brain is with things.
Mark saw this movie and was like, Africa Bambaataa. Oh, those guys are going places, I bet.
Oh man, give me. Was it what was the guy with the Furious Five?
Melly Mel
in this movie. Yeah, there you go, Melly Mel.
Grandmaster Melly Mel.
Grandmaster Melly Mel. Yeah, it just very much, those going, oh man, these guys gonna be something.
Cool Modi.
Modi.
Gotta look
I'm
him up.
discovering these people. I'm
Well,
like
that
Columbus.
probably is true for us. At least for me. I was like, Kumo D, that sounds familiar. I know I've heard that name before.
Yeah, I can't wait to discuss sort of this idea with my coworker who is the inspiration for this pick this week, because he gave me a list of 5 hip hop culture breakdancing movies from the 80s. And I chose this one because it was the one that felt the least most like a movie. But yeah, that was just my brain. I just literally finished watching it 10 minutes ago, so I'm coming stream of conscious right now on my thoughts on that.
Yeah, so welcome back, Dan.
Good to be back.
Yeah. The experiment is over. You sent the kid back.
Yeah, we had enough of them. We said we gave it a try, and we just decided, listen, we're better off without him. And we it was a mutual parting of ways. He decided, you guys are kind of lame. You've been sitting around playing Fallout 4 all day. Why don't you, feed me, clothe me? Like, we don't have time. No, we
sent him packing on a skateboard down the street.
Let someone else
rolled it to the next person.
We haven't seen him in 2 days, so someone got him.
Someone got him.
Maybe he was picked up by a roaming pack of dogs or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was explaining off the podcast before that, coming back to this and watching this movie kind of it made my the cockles of my heart warm, because it was like, oh, I'm watching a bad movie. I'm doing something that I did before having a child, and it that normal feeling kind of washed over me. So regardless of how much I like or dislike this movie, just having that routine come back meant a lot to me. So I'm very happy I'm not saying it sarcastically. I am happy to be back.
Nice. Dan, I want you to answer a question that's been fighting amongst our fans since last week. Did you watch the first 5 minutes of Bring It On All or Nothing and just decide you were going to skip that week?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I had to. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Finding the time to do things around the house is non-existent. I had to do the most normal thing. I had to go to the grocery store, and I had to give our dog a bath. So it was like trying to get to the grocery store it's almost like trying to move across the country now in terms of logistics. It's like, okay, if you feed him now, in an hour, I should be able to go, but I have to be back really quickly. And I couldn't fit All or Nothing with Rihanna into the schedule, unfortunately. But I really wanted to come back last week, but it just the kid just decided no, can't do it.
The kid watched the first 5 minutes of Bring It On and was like, "No, Dad, I'm not letting you do that."
I'm looking forward to when he's old enough and he discovers this podcast. Like, oh, thanks, Dad. You sent me packing and hoped that a roaming band of dogs found me, huh? That's what you thought about me.
That's because you're playing too much Fallout 4.
Listen, man, that game has kept us sane. Because we've turned into couch potatoes, but at the same time, we haven't lost our minds, and we're not at each other's throats yet. So the Fallout 4 has saved us.
Nice. The baby is the enemy.
The baby is the enemy. Yeah, he just won't stop. He doesn't give up, man. He only knows one thing, and that's to eat.
Total opposite of you. Are you sure this is your kid?
That's what Jen said. But man, he eats too quickly. Are we sure he's yours? Laugh it up, guys. Laugh it up. Even my own child's gonna be pitted against me. Dad, you eat slow as fuck.
Cook.
We've joked about this off the podcast, but he's definitely gonna bully me at one point or another. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be great for me, but it's just gonna be sitting around and on the couch. Like, move, Dad. I'm gonna watch something. Like, oh, but I'm trying to watch the Yankee game. I said, fucking move, Dad. Okay. All right, son.
All right. Well, this week we've already sort of introduced it, but we haven't actually named it. But this is actually Mark's pick this week. So, Mark, tell us what movie you picked.
Yeah. So this week I picked the 1984 movie Beat Street, which is just a celebration of hip hop culture at the time: breakdancing, rap, DJing, singing. just basically everything that I guess was big in the early 80s and in that time period. As I said, this was recommended by one of my coworkers who not a fan of the podcast, mainly because he doesn't listen to podcasts for the most part. But he is always loves hearing what movies we're watching. So he sent me a list of 5 movies because he was a b-boy back in the 80s. Yeah, there's actually photos of him with his cardboard and all that.
Did he ever meet Vin Diesel?
No, unfortunately. But yeah, he did that stuff when like he would have been a teenager when these movies came out. So very much. I texted him after the movie. I was like, just finished Beat Street. I think I understand you more. Afterwards, because yeah, everything, all the music he talks about and all the stuff, it's like everything was in this movie. And like as we'll get into, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. The soundtrack is fire, as the kids say. And the story itself, I could follow some parts, but I think they probably needed to stick with one storyline. They kind of mixed a couple in there and didn't really give any of them enough room to breathe. I think the surprise that the ending of the movie and all that was surrounded by Ramon's storyline. The taggers. I forgot that as part of the culture of this time with this movie. And I thought if that was if he was more of the like lead sort of thing, I think his story was more compelling than the other ones in there. But yeah, they tried to showcase everything, and I think it got a little jumbled, and that's why we all got confused exactly with what was going on. But yeah, it was fun, hearing them use all the the terminology back, as all kids of different generations do, that sort of encapsulates that time period, and they still do it as they get older using the same things. We're all guilty of it. But yeah, like I said, this movie's fun. Soundtrack's great. And it just felt like I now understand what that culture was back then. Better watching this movie, oddly enough, than I did when I would watch a movie like Breakin' or something like that. I felt this was more of a love letter to all that stuff, with it losing the plot of being an actual movie, in that sense. So, whichever, whichever side you like better. But yeah, that's sort of a lot of fun.
Okay. Dan, what about you? Where are you coming from? Beach
First
Street.
time seeing Beach Street. Never heard of it. So this was not on my radar in any sense of the word. This movie, I get what Mark was saying. It was like pretty much just a celebration of what the culture was at the time period. But I don't know if a movie needed to be made of it, or maybe I don't know if this kind of movie needed to be made for it, because I don't know what was supposed to be accomplished in this movie. I don't know who the main character was, because you have Ramon and what's yes. So I didn't know who was the real protagonist. I guess it was Kenny, but
yeah,
like Ramon is the B plot of the movie, and I didn't know who to really be more attached to in this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the motivations were. Like, I guess Ramon wanted to be an artist, right? He tags things.
Yeah.
And Kenny wanted to be a musician?
Yeah,
right?
I guess a DJ MC sort of thing.
Okay, and what? Nothing gets accomplished. Neither of those goals are met in this movie.
The closest they get is that Kenny, I guess, with that celebration memorial service to Ramon, kind of becomes like a DJ, sort of at that club level.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the story, and I'll let you get back because I just had to start while you were saying that. I think the main plot of this movie is supposed to be, chase your dreams, but, don't let it consume you, which is kind of the whole, Ramon gets so obsessed with this guy and that's how he ends up dying. It's because he's got to fight that guy.
He doesn't have to fight him.
No. What I'm saying is, Ramon feels like he has to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that passing is just sort of what allows everybody to go, okay, you sort of, not maybe take things as seriously as they were.
We got to get in, and we will. We'll get into Spitz.
Yes, Spitz
a little bit later, but I thought his whole story arc was going to be like, listen, I'm chasing my dream. I have a girlfriend and a baby, and I'm gonna man up. I'm gonna do what's right by them. Only for him to, and like, can I spoil it here?
Of course.
Okay. Only for him to be electrocuted on the fucking subway.
Yeah.
Which is such a pointless death scene, in my opinion. But overall, with this movie, I also agree with Mark, where it did feel and look like a movie. It's shot well. There is some decent dialogue in the movie, some decent dancing, but the dancing becomes so prominent that they kind of forget to put a plot in the movie. Like, here's a bunch of dance scenes that last 5 to 10 minutes. And it kind of overshadows the story, where all of a sudden they kind of race to the end. Like, oh yeah, we have to give these guys a story arc, and we have to get it done in the next 20 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it was more to show off, because I think those are two outside of Lee, unless if he is actually in the crew. I think those two were actual dance crews.
They were.
So more of those dance scenes was just show those guys off, essentially. But yeah, they did take up too much of the movie when you could have played Ramon's stuff a little bit more, since he ended up being, the main thing by the end.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, this is the first time I'm seeing this. Beat Street. I don't remember much about it, or at least in terms of plot. Music is awesome. It's great. That's really what this movie is. It's just a music delivery system. I was not expecting to see anybody electrocuted in this movie, so that was a surprise. But yeah, Rae Dawn Chong's in this. She looks great. Who doesn't love Rae Dawn Chong? As I mentioned, the music is fire. Love the 80s New York setting. This movie, I am not going to remember much about it. I am not ever probably going to rewatch this, but I had a good time, and most of that has to do with the music, really, more than anything.
Real quick, Ant, when we were talking on the group chat and you mentioned the music was fire, after you watched it, how quickly did you purchase the original soundtrack?
Still pending.
Still pending. Okay. Are you gonna try to get the vinyl? It might be out there.
Maybe it's on eBay. Let's look at eBay right now.
Yeah, why not? Right?
Beat Street vinyl.
I would say that's a pretty good chance.
Yeah. If next time I look, I'm at my $70.
Yeah. They knew we were covering it.
Beat Street Volume 1.
Is it worth $70?
No.
No. But I've never bought an album for $70. So no album is worth $70 to me.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
You probably just go on YouTube and find them.
Yeah. It's probably on Spotify.
Yeah. I gotta say, I love the beginning of this movie. That kind of felt like, because the opening credits felt like the end credits, where it's just still shots of the cast, like leaned up against walls or dancing. Like, is the movie over already?
Yeah.
That's how they had to introduce everybody, so you remembered who they were.
Just Ramon smiling like a jackass.
Yeah, I forgot to learn that lesson, and I failed to remember anybody's name.
I only remember Ramon because they sing his name at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't learn. I knew the other main character, probably supposed to be the main character, was KK. But I didn't learn that the 1K stood for Kenny until the very end of the movie.
Did you get nervous that he wrote KKK as well?
I would.
Because Ramon tags the train at the end, and it says, I looked quickly, it said KK. It's like, holy shit, did he just tag the KKK on the train?
That'd be wild for someone named Ramon to tag the KKK.
Listen, there's always one.
Do you think that's who KK Slider from Animal Crossing is named after?
That would be funny. if the creators of Animal Crossing Made in Japan named the character after a character from a cult 1984 breakdancing movie.
Well,
Maybe
it's
it's
localization. Then it didn't have to be a Japanese team. Maybe the American team.
maybe the American team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more likely. Yeah. I wasn't being sarcastic with it. It's just I have seen references in Japanese games that you're like, wait, that very specific niche thing, even in Japanese, they mention. But yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's
Yeah.
not many KKs in media.
Yeah. Just KK Slider, this KK, and the KKK, as Dan mentioned.
Yeah.
The prominent ones. I was confused. So going back to kind of how I didn't know what the plot was and who to follow, I really thought the movie was going to follow the two breakdancing outfits, right? The essentially they were the Crips and the Bloods, because one wore all blue and one wore all red.
They were the Beat Street and the Bronx Bombers? Yeah, okay. I was in my head. I'm like,
they
did
danced
they name
against the
themselves?
Yankees.
I was like, yeah, did they name themselves after the Yankees?
Yeah, so that's what I thought it was going to be, because I thought Lee, the little kid, was going to be we're going to follow him as he kind of fights his way into the dance group, right? He's talking to his brother and like, oh, why can't I do this? I want to join. He's out late at night.
I did not realize, and this is the fault of the movie, that the guy in the Kangol hat and glasses was Lee until like they show him outside of the club going, oh, that girl wanted me to come check it out. And I'm like, oh, that was Lee? I just thought it was some random guy that just kind of looked like that.
Yeah, and Ray Day Chong's character, Tracy, wanted to talk to Lee, and Lee was like 13.
Yeah.
This movie. It's like, this is kind of weird. Why do they have a grown woman seeking out a 13-year-old boy? But they kind of dropped that a few minutes into the movie.
Yeah, well, she wanted them because they were going to steal the dance moves.
That's right. At the studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they wind up together, Kenny and Tracy, at the end of this movie? They do? Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the only real twist is the death at the end. Everything else basically goes how you would think it would go. The mother even has a thing where Lee gets arrested for dancing, and then she sort of reads the riot act to the cop. About these boys could be doing a hell of a lot worse than dancing. Yeah, but I was jealous of Kenny's vinyl collection when I went in his room.
He had some pretty cool equipment, I will say.
Yeah.
I think he had talent for mixing. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen some absolution in his story arc, because it's kind of left up to like a mystery. Like, does he get out of the hood? Does he not? Does he make it big? We don't know. It just, he kind of just throws this big shindig in honor of Ramon, and that's where it ends.
Yeah, because I think there's a line between, and I think it's because I'm a little more fresh. I don't know when you watch this, Dan, so I don't want to assume. Or even Ant. I'm a little more fresh. I think there's a conversation between Kenny and the woman right at the end where they're like, some of these things don't seem important anymore. The things they were looking forward to, like her performance and, his thing, just because of Ramon. And I think really that's the end of the movie, is just, hey, doesn't matter if they made it. They just got to celebrate this guy's life who all he wanted was people to see his art. And that was the movie. And I don't know if the rest of the movie kind of ties in with that. But yeah, essentially, everything was about getting big, making it. And then they just, totally changed it in the, the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Can we
it's like when G-Baby dies in Hardball.
Yeah. That's a good point. But I actually felt something for G-Baby.
Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I wanted to quickly touch upon the character of Spitz.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how disappointing that was. Jen and I were watching the movie, and we kept coming up with different scenarios of who Spitz was. So Jen was like, what if it's Ramon's father? Just like basically sabotaging his work so that he could do he could find a real job. It's like, oh, like what if it was I think they talk about how Kenny's brother is killed in gang warfare. So I was like, oh, what if it was Kenny's brother who wanted to be an artist, but he was so shitty at it that he had to fake his own death.
That's wild, even for this movie.
But how great would it have been if it's revealed, like, oh my god, you're Kenny's brother. Like, why are you doing this? But no, it's some guy.
I thought that was the most disappointing part, was that it was just some guy.
Homeless dude.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go the tried and true way of it being one of his boys, those two guys that are with him.
Yeah,
talking about, you always dream of painting white trains. I thought it was going to be him, or one of those guys. It's going to turn out they were just upset that he was getting more attention than they were. But yeah, revealing it as a random, I guess, makes his death more tragic.
I think it makes it stupid.
Yeah,
it's worthless.
Oh yeah. When I say tragic, I mean like sort of. It wasn't. He was just mad at this random guy. It wasn't like some betrayal or something. So the fact that he died trying to avenge it makes it stupid is one way of putting it. I say tragic. But there was a spot there for this to be a little more dramatic, and you would think with not a small cast, but you would think that they could have tied it in without needing to introduce this character that we never know anything about.
And dies immediately.
So, Beat Street from 1984 is directed by Stan Lathan, who directed 62 episodes of Rock, 122 episodes of The Steve Harvey Show, Dave Chappelle's Killing Them Softly, and every Chappelle Netflix special. A lot of comic specials that he did. Stars Radon Chong, Guy Davis, John Chardy, Leon W. Grant, Sandra Santiago, Robert Taylor, Mary Alice, Sean Elliott, and Frank Reyes, featuring music by Melly Mel, DJ Jazzy J, The Treacherous 3 featuring Dougie Fresh, Africa Bambaataa and Soul Sonic Force, Tina B, and many others. IMDb score of 6.5, Rotten Tomatoes score of 57%. Budget, $9.5 million. Box office, 16.6. A lot of money for this movie. $9.5 million budget.
It's probably some of the artists.
Hopefully that's mostly music.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Because the sets are very minimal, right? It's a lot of just like alleyways. The apartment that Ramon gets for his girlfriend and baby that I don't think there's a lock on the door of.
Yeah, most of it seems like these were locations that they didn't necessarily require permits for. So
yeah, man, that apartment that he got for them was a real shithole. I better living like on the street, I think.
And now he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so dumb. Mm-hmm. I definitely was not prepared for that either. But during the scene when he's chasing the artist formerly known as Spitz down the track, I kept saying, "Watch out for that third rail. Watch out for that third rail." And sure enough, Ramon didn't listen.
They both should have known better.
Yeah, what were they thinking?
Yeah,
just a blind rage.
You guys want to get into the plot?
Okay,
let's do it.
All right, Dan, you want to shake the rust off?
Sure. So go check out these two podcasts. One of them is the Top 10 with Tia. It's Tia and her friend Brittany, and they discuss their top 10 list of the week. So if that's something you enjoy, go over to geekvibesnation.com, search the Top 10 with Tia. They're also on YouTube. You search the Top 10 with Tia. All of their episodes will pop right up. And I think, Mark, you can explain a little better, but I know the Game Vault pod is kind of taking a hiatus for now. It's just you doing some news and some playthroughs. So just to let the people know how that's going.
Yeah, so schedule's a little more solidified than the first couple times I had to do this. So game streams are Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, with Sunday being up in the air. Right now it is a day, and then Friday is the news hour. So Monday is our Retro Roulette endurance run, which right now it is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Thursdays is Cyberpunk 2077, We're playing with the 2.0, which changed a good bit about some of the combat and the way the world operates. It's actually a better game than the original when I played it when it first came out. Having a lot of fun there. It's also had a couple bugs that were just amazing that I already made highlights for in our Twitch channel. And then on Saturday is our playthrough of Persona 3. It's basically going to be JRPG night. So once I'm done Persona 3 Reload, I got a couple other games I could jump to. So if you like JRPGs, that'll be your night. And then Sundays right now is Fallout 4. And I am sort of, just getting back into the swing of that. We made it, finally got Sanctuary. And I believe that is where I ended last time. So that we can start anew, checking out all that stuff. So Fallout 4 will go as long as I can before it either starts getting boring for the audience or, I feel like it's not really a fun stream game, but we'll keep going with it. So also, I am trying to pay attention more to our Discord, the Game Ball Pod, over on Discord. I have a couple of channels open. One is just stream suggestions. If you have any suggestions about the stream, whether it be, audio visual, games to play, just sort of theme nights or something like that, just drop it right in there. And then I have Spoiler City for when I play games that I have not beaten, but you need to talk to other people about, maybe mistakes I'm making or things I'm missing. Drop it in there so you're not dropping it in the chat. And then I also made a channel because Tom made a non-spoiler channel for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I made a spoiler channel for if people want to scream about Rebirth in there. So I'm trying to, get the Discord up and running so that by the time Tom and Jen come back, maybe it's a little more hopping than it was in there. So that's about everything. So twitch.tv/GameVaultPod. And then most of the recordings will go up on our YouTube channel. Just search Game Vault Pod. Right now, I'm digging into some of the back catalog. So Super Mario RPG should be coming up soon. I just downloaded and edited a little bit the 13 hours of the Extra Life stream from November. So that'll be popping up in full, and then I'll also be breaking that out into games. It's going to be exciting times over at the YouTube. Just trying to keep the content rolling while it's just myself.
Okay, great. Now we're going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to messages from friends of the podcast. So we will be right back. And welcome back. Now it's time to get into the plot for Beat Street. And this is the plot synopsis pulled from IMDb, because I didn't watch this movie twice. In the South Bronx, New York City, hip-hop disc jockey Kenny Double K Kirkland, played by Guy Davis, heads out for the night with his friends Ramon, John Chartier, and Charlie, Leon W. Grant, leaving behind his younger brother Lee Kirkland, Robert Taylor. On their way to the house party they are hosting at an abandoned building, Ramon and another graffiti artist, Louis, photograph the subway cars they tagged the previous night.
I think that's the one thing from my teenage, early 20s era that I didn't get to do that always seems fun in movies is just having a party at like an abandoned something.
You never been?
Yeah, the closest I was in like a basement in like a building in Center City, Philadelphia. But not an abandoned house or like this movie.
I'm just kidding. I grew up in Jackson, New Jersey. There weren't abandoned house parties. Not that I was ever invited to.
I've been to a couple. They're not all they're cracked up to be. But it's also, I wasn't super high on the totem pole in terms of popularity. So I didn't get a whole lot of, everyone else was getting what they needed out of it. I didn't understand it. And it was just kind of, oh, all right, this is an abandoned house. Okay, cool.
It's just one of those things from movies that always seems a lot more fun than it probably actually is.
Mm-hmm. Dan was tired at that abandoned house party, is what he was saying.
At 15 years old, I probably was. Dude, can we go home? Come on. I'm tired. But those girls want to talk to you. I don't care. It's like 10 o'clock. Time to go to bed.
The hip-hop dance party draws a crowd, including the uninvited Lee and his dance crew, the Beat Street Breakers. However, Lee wins over the audience with his dance moves. Way to go, Lee. Kenny spins records and introduces a trio from the neighborhood called Us Girls. When Kenny, Ramon, and Charlie hear an odd noise, they discover a young man named Henry playing percussion on the building's pipes in the building basement. Henry is looking for a conga player named Tito, but the boys tell him Tito left years earlier when the landlord burned the building for insurance.
Such a weird moment.
There's a line in the dialogue where he's like, he was in a house fire? Like, no, but the house burned down. Obviously, they're in the ruins of the apartment.
Yes.
He was in a fire?
And a reminder, I don't remember any of this movie, so all of this is brand new information to me.
My favorite part about Us Girls is that the whole time they're singing, it just reminded me of that meme that like people of that generation just look older than they are.
Sure.
Like, oh, all those people, they were in their early 20s.
It's like John Ratzenberger was 36 when Cheers started.
Yeah, and was it Jason Alexander or George was 31?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucked up.
Yeah, well, what are the Saved by the Bell kids? They're probably in their mid-20s, early to mid-20s, playing high schoolers.
Yeah. Later that night, Lee's crew scuffles with the rival group, the Bronx Rockers, but Henry diffuses the situation.
This is when he bites into the Old English can, I believe.
I'll take your word for it.
Biter.
Yep, exactly. That's what they say, because they were talking about biting off each other's moves, and then he came and just bit the cannon and swallowed the metal.
At least it appeared to be that way.
And then they said, now that's a biter. And then that was how it diffused.
Well, play on words. The next day, while Kenny and Lee's mother, Cora, cooks breakfast, she begs Kenny not to stay out so late because she already lost one son who was killed to gang violence. Charlie arrives and informs Kenny that he has complimentary tickets to the Roxy, one of Manhattan's most popular nightclubs. Meanwhile, Ramon's father, Domingo, wants his son to stop desecrating subway cars, get a job, and marry Carmen, the young mother of his illegitimate baby. That night at the Roxy, the Breakers and the Rockers square off on the dance floor in a breakdancing row. Pretty college student named Tracy Carlson, played by Radon Chong, catches Kenny's eye, but she is most impressed by Lee's dancing, and she invites Lee to her school.
Yeah, the best part about this is this 2 weeks in a row where just groups of people just fighting each other with dance moves.
You know what? The world will be a better place.
Yeah.
That'd be a great way to solve wars.
Mm-hmm.
You send your best dance crew against our best dance crew.
Yes.
But so here's the thing. I had written down, there's a few dance-offs in this movie. Who wins? How do they decide who wins?
I think it's crowd reaction, no?
Yeah, somebody's got to get served.
Yeah.
Did that happen in this movie? I don't remember anyone having a definitive winner.
They talked about serving each other, but I don't know if anybody actually got served.
Yeah. So I think there was a lot of stalemates or no decisions.
Yeah. A lot of, it was tied.
Right. But that's like they're blue balling us here. I need a winner. Don't have so many dance-offs if you're not going to declare a winner.
You need Rihanna there to settle the score, to decide who won, or the guy from You Got Served, whatever his name was.
Better. Is Nick Cannon in that movie? Or was that Drumline?
I think that's Drumline.
Okay.
I think he's in something. I mean, he's in Drumline, but someone is. Omarion is in You Got Served.
Yeah.
So there should have been. We need the rules. Maybe it's because I'm not hip to this, but I need to know, what are the rules to a dance-off? Does everyone go once? Does everyone go twice? Do you just go until you can't go no more?
I feel like that's it. Like, you keep going, and then once you've gotten served, like, you know when you got served, right? It's unmistakable.
Okay. So it's like someone pulls off a sick dance move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shit, well, we can't top that. We just got served.
Yeah. I can't come back from that. Like, they did a move that we have no counter.
South Park did it the right way, where if you lost, you wound up in the hospital. He served me so good.
You got F'd in the A.
Right. His dance moves were so fresh.
The next day, Ramon is upset because a rival graffiti artist, a shadowy and taciturn street punk known only as Spit, painted over his artwork on a subway car. Kenny, Ramon, Jolly, and Henry join Lee as he visits Tracy at the City College in New York, where she is contributing a dance composition to a television program. The group is disappointed upon discovering that Lee was not actually invited to perform in the show, and Kenny accuses Tracy and her teachers of being condescending toward his brother. Later, Ramon visits with Carmen and their baby. They are interrupted by Carmen's mother, who accuses Ramon of shirking his responsibility. Carmen begs Ramon to take her and the baby away. Meanwhile, Tracy visits the Kirkland's apartment to apologize. Kenny plays her some of his musical mixes, and the two find common ground. Later, Kenny takes Tracy to the subway tunnels, where Ramon and Lee are spray painting a wall. Ramon longingly watches a clean white train pass, claiming it is his dream canvas. Startled by a noise, the friends leave as the hooded spit tags a freshly painted wall.
Did you guys pick up on the Moby Dick reference?
Mm-hmm. It says white whale.
Yeah. I wish he would have said that. Oh, it's
Pretty good one.
That's this movie. It surprised me with that. Like, oh damn! Like this is actually kind of deep. I wouldn't expect that from a breakdancing movie.
Yeah. There's many layers, that Ramon. He's like an onion.
Grilled onion.
Kenny,
Boom.
Kenny walks Tracy home and explains that his older brother, a gang member named Franklin, was killed a year ago. They kiss goodnight, and Kenny arrives home at dawn. Later that day, Charlie informs Kenny that he has a tryout that night at a club, the Burning Spear, run by Cool Herc. With Tracy at his side, Kenny spins records to the delight of the crowd. Cool Herc hires him for the following weekend. Next day, Ramon asks his father, Domingo, if Carmen can live with them, referring to his son as a criminal. Domingo refuses, then orders his son to marry Carmen and provide for his child. Later, Charlie takes Kenny to the Roxy, where a talent scout is auditioning local performers. Among them are Tina B, Andy B, Bad, and the Fantastic Duo.
And is this the one that has the band with the random middle-aged white guy playing two keyboards? Do either of you remember?
I don't recall that.
Yeah. I don't know if he's middle-aged, but he sort of has like the white suit on with like the semi-mullet, just behind the lead singer. Yeah, it was kind of like
he's probably like 24, but in 80s hairstyles and stuff, he looks like he's 37.
Yeah, exactly. He like stood out. It was like very much the, that guy that's like in the cool band, but definitely does not know how to look cool.
Mm-hmm.
So they fuck me for calling back.
And fuck me for calling 37 middle-aged.
Yeah. I mean, we're both past it, buddy.
It feels that way. It just feels that way.
Charlie asks Kenny to wait outside and invites the scout to see Kenny DJ at Club Burning Spear. Afterward, Kenny drops by CCNY to surprise Tracy and sees her in an intimate embrace with her Professor Robert, played by Dwayne Jones. Isn't Dwayne Jones the guy from Night of the Living Dead?
He is, yes.
Is that the Dwayne Jones? It is that Dwayne Jones.
It is, yeah. Surprisingly. I had to do a double take there as well. Wait a minute, he looks really familiar.
That. Meanwhile, Henry fixes up the basement of the abandoned building and moves in. Ramon tells his friends that he plans to move Carmen and the baby into an empty apartment upstairs. Ramon gets a job at a hardware store and his friends help him make the apartment habitable. Surprise Carmen with a small housewarming party.
Did you see that they spray painted appliances?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
They're like, oh, well, that doesn't feed my family, guys, but thank you very much.
It's a thought that counts, Dan.
Of course, yeah. That definitely puts food in my child's stomach, the thought. Thoughts and prayers.
It's an original Ramon.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good way to... That's silver lining. Don't worry, sweetheart. It's original Ramon. Meanwhile, they haven't eaten in 2 days.
On Saturday night at the Burning Spear, Kenny impresses the town scout who invites him to DJ at the Roxy on New Year's Eve. The next day, the Breakers and the Rockers engage in a dance-off in a subway station, and Lee is arrested. I would hate to be on that subway platform at the time.
Oh, God, that looked so frustrating. It was so cringeworthy. Like, just walking by, like, oh, my God.
It's like when you're on the subway car, and, like, you could see in the other car, like, those dance troops are coming in to do their thing and then ask for money. And you're just like, oh, here they come.
Yeah, please don't get it to us, please.
that was the least crowded New York City subway area I've ever seen.
It's probably because someone pissed.
Yeah, it was nice and clean. Yeah, that's true. I do like how they caught each other's gaze from afar, like, oh shit, they're in our territory. It's about to go down now, and it's the fastest dance off ever. Like I was hoping they would get together and like kiss afterwards.
Right.
Like embrace.
So it was like the Warriors, but just makes less sense.
Yeah.
So it's like an all-out fight. That makes a lot more sense than a dance battle.
Yeah, because no ground is gained nor ceded in a dance off. It's not like, hey, listen, this is our terminal, Jack. Like, no, we claim this terminal or this hallway. There's none of that. It's like, all right, well, we're gonna have to dance to see who claims this area. Nope, they see each other. It's on site. They're dancing. Like it's almost like an unwritten rule. If we see a rival gang, you got to dance.
Is this scene, was Michael Jackson inspired by this scene for Bad?
I don't know. Probably. Maybe. Well, didn't Bad come out before this?
Oh, good question.
I think Bad's at 86
or
7.
I thought Bad was 83.
I think Thriller's like 83.
Oh, okay. I'm not up on my MJ.
And the album came out in 87.
There you go. Yeah, so another big fan of Beach Street, Michael Jackson.
Might have even been the Warriors.
That's probably closer.
Yeah. I'm sure Michael Jackson saw Beach Street, Crush Groove, and enjoyed them.
Well, there's a couple people who dress like Michael in this movie, like the red leather outfits.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Tracy arranges for Kenny to use the college's computerized studio while she works with Robert at a nearby piano. Kenny accidentally deletes his work and rejects Robert and Tracy's attempts to help him. He tells Tracy they both may be too bust to continue seeing each other. What?
Too bust?
Too bust.
I don't remember those words being uttered.
I don't know if that's exactly what that means. Later, Cora picks Lee up at the police station and defends her son, telling the officer that there are worse things kids can do besides dancing. It's true. At the college, Tracy conducts the premiere of her dance composition. Waiting for a train with Ramon, Kenny worries that he made a mistake with Tracy and wonders if his talented friend is wasting his time on graffiti. Ramon explains he needed to take the job at the hardware store, but it interferes with his artwork. Sees an all-white train on the A line and realizes he can achieve his dream by painting it that night after work.
I don't see how that affects his graffiti, because he does it at night.
Right.
So he works in the morning.
Well, it's almost like he's pulling 2 shifts, right?
Okay. Yeah, they never say how long it takes him to tag something, but yeah, maybe 5-6 hours.
Yeah. You gotta wait for things to dry and all that kind of stuff. I assume. I've never tagged anything in my entire life. Surprise.
Also, I'm going to be that guy. Ramon did not have a promising future as an artist.
Are you saying he wasn't a good tagger?
I don't think so. He had good penmanship. His drawings left much to be desired.
Oh, man.
I know. Listen.
Harsh criticism, but it's criticism.
He needed to be taken down a notch, I think. As someone who's seen a lot of graffiti in his lifetime, I know a good artist. All right.
Yeah, and you all know my opinion on art, so I will stay out of the conversation.
Mark hates art.
This entire movie, anytime he saw it, like, ugh, what is this?
Fast forward. Fast forward all Ramon scenes.
At the end of the movie, I was like, finally.
You're like, who's Ramon?
Good, I'm glad he's dead.
Later that evening, Kenny meets Ramon and helps him paint the train. Lurking nearby is Spit, who tags the train even before Ramon can finish the other side. Ramon chases Spit through a tunnel. They scuffle and fall into an electrified rail, killing them both. And unceremonious.
And also in front of dozens of people.
Yeah. But it's New York, so I'm like, all right. I guarantee you, the first thing that goes through those people's minds are, fuck, now I'm going to be late.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, me too. Like, God damn it. Now I'm not going to make it to work.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I've been on the train back from New York on, like, New Jersey Transit, and, like, there have been moments, and tragically, people have decided to jump in front of trains ahead of me, and I'm just like, oh, come on, really?
This is the worst thing that could ever happen to me right now.
I have the worst luck.
No, it's so true. I felt the same way. Just like, you know, like a car was stuck on the train or something like that. Like, oh God, this is the worst. Mm-hmm. Why aren't these people thinking of me? Real quick, getting back to Spitz, because I have a real bone to pick with this guy. One, why is this plot in the movie? We know nothing about him. We learn nothing about him. He has no history with Ramon. So who cares?
It's just the randomness of life, man. That's really all it is.
That's what the movie chalks it up to. It's just like, yeah, sometimes you're gonna have people who just hate on you for no reason.
Yeah, I guess. And it's Ramon not taking responsibility for his own life.
So Spitz
Really.
was sent down to teach Ramon a lesson of responsibility.
Right. It would make more sense if he got hit by a white train.
Yes.
Right? Because if we're talking about the white whale motif, him getting killed by a white train would be like dramatic irony. Not dramatic irony, just straight irony.
Right. Or like a cop shoots him.
Sure.
Right? They showed that a cop was on a train that was passing by as they were graffitiing. So, and they were like, "Oh, well, cops." So it would make sense if Ramon's story arc was, I'm going to tag that white train if it's the last thing I do. And they're like, "Oh, Ramon, it's dangerous, man. The cops are all around it, blah, blah, blah." And it just, he takes the chance, and then some cop shoots on sight, and that's how he meets his end. But he finishes his mural on there. His shitty artwork is for the world to see, and he just dies with the final shot of him. He gets shot, and you just see the spray paint can roll away from his lifeless hand. And that's the end of Ramon.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there is something to be said about just it is just some guy, right? Ramon has built this rivalry in his head of like, this guy is doing this. This is personal now. Forget the fact that I need to be spending more time supporting my baby mama and my child. I'm now in the sewers or in the subway tunnels doing this when I should be providing for them, putting food on the table, or just spending time with them.
Yeah.
And then all for, oh no, it's just some guy.
Yeah, I think it's poetic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because like you guys were saying, the randomness of life, where it's not always that deep.
Yeah.
But Spitz must have had something out for Ramon.
Maybe Ramon's just a piece of shit, you know?
It could have been.
Maybe Spit was just being like, hey, who's this fucking Ramon guy? He's tagging all the things I was trying to get to.
Yeah, just an unnecessary rivalry.
Yeah, there's two sides to every story, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
True. Ramon's side and Spit's side.
We've only seen one of them.
And we'll never find out Spit, unless we do a prequel to
Beat Street 2.
Spit
story.
Spit story.
I mean, they got a Mufasa movie coming out.
Oh my God, you're right. This is what we need.
Yeah. After Ramon's funeral, Kenny is not sure about performing at the Roxy's New Year's Eve show. However, Tracy and Charlie help him assemble his idealized lineup of Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Five, 25 breakdancers, City College dancers, and a Bronx gospel choir. Together, they produce a celebration of Ramon's life. Domingo, Ramon's father, is moved when he sees his son's artwork on the wall of a tenement building. And that is the end of Beat Street. I had a good time with it, for the most part.
Real quick, the band that goes on last, they do a brief mention of Ramon, and then they start talking about how the government is destroying the world.
Yeah. That's Melly Mel.
Yeah, at one point, Jen and I look at each other and we're like, what does this have to do with Ramon anymore?
It's the Beat Street breakdown.
It sure was. But they were just, like, all right, like, give a shout out for Ramon. By the way, the government does not care about you. It's destroying the planet.
Yep.
I feel like that if Ant was in a band and wrote it, that's how his thing would begin. It'd be like, Ramon, let's see here for Ramon. How about this, ACAB or anti-capitalist or something.
Like,
sweet.
They pan over to Ramon's girlfriend. Like, what's happening here?
Ramon was always pretty pro-capitalist.
Yeah, he wanted to make a lot of money.
All right, that is it for Beat Street, and we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back for our third segment. So listen to these ads, so pay those bills, and we will be right back. And welcome back, and now for our third segment, and we are going to do Fantasy Draft. This week we watched a musical, so we are going to draft 4 fictional bands. So we're going to use this as like we are creating a music festival, and these are going to be our bands that we're going to have on our team. So we spun a wheel off podcast, and the order is going to be Dan, Mark, me. As usual, this is Snake, so I will get 2 picks, and then it'll be back to Mark and back to Dan on round 2. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
All right, Dan, who's your number 1 pick? Number 1 overall.
Number 1 overall, the Wild Stallions, Bill and Ted.
Ooh, that is a solid pick.
Yes, they will save the world and also hopefully save this this little festival we're putting on right now. So I love their can-do attitude, and they're a good starting point for this draft.
Okay, I love it. All right, Mark, where are you going with your number 1?
Yeah, so I attempted to do actually build a lineup from start to headliner. Hopefully, so I'm gonna open up my opener because they're technically just a one-hit wonder. I will take the Wonders from That Thing You Do.
Ooh, the Oneaters. The Oneaters.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right. As for me, I don't have anything written down, but I have several lists opened up. So I'm going to take as my opener Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem from The Muppet Show.
Pretty good.
That's a good one.
That was on my list too.
It's got a good energy to open it up with, so I figured.
They have a lot of different sounds too, so they can really just change on a dime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they were on my list of bands that I was going to hope would last all the way to the end.
All right. So, following up Dr. Teeth, I'm going to take my second pick is going to be Sexual Chocolate from Coming to America.
Pretty good.
I like it.
Hey guys, good. This boy's good. All right, Mark.
Yeah, so I'm going to stay in the same vein, sort of. Sort of someone to get the crowd, a little more hyped up, maybe, lead them into our final 2 acts. I'm going to take a man so good that we celebrate the day he visited Empire Records as a holiday. I'll take Rex Manning.
All right, Rex Manning.
Sounds good.
Oh, Rexy, you so sexy.
Sexy.
All right, Dan. Second act.
All right, we're gonna turn up the girl power here. I'm going Crucial Taunt from Wayne's World.
That's a good one. That was on my short list. As are the Shitty Beatles.
I was thinking of putting well, yeah, but we never hear them play, so unless they suck.
Yeah, they do suck. All right. All right. Who's your third pick?
Third pick. So I want to get this one guy, but I think he's more of a closer. All right. For my next pick, I'm gonna go with the Beats from Doug.
Okay. Beats. Following Crucial Tones.
So two. I'm leaning very heavy rock here.
Mm-hmm.
My closer, if I get him, I think it's a solid close.
Okay. All right, Mark. Who you got?
So for this one, I'll go a little bit with Dan's pick, with girl power, and I will take Josie and the Pussycats.
That was on my list too. I couldn't decide between them or Crucial Taunt.
Yeah, just and we're specifically saying the Rachel Lee Cook Josie and the Pussycats, to be fair.
Yeah. Who's that with Rosario Dawson and
Tara Reid?
Reid, yeah.
Okay. I am gonna go with who am I gonna? There are a lot of good picks here, but I haven't gone in the rock quite yet. So I am gonna go with Spinal Tap.
God damn it.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Spinal Tap is my second main event.
Yeah, they were my top choice for headliner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just this. Well, my rankings for that. My top 2, Ant both got them.
Ooh.
You got Spinal Tap and the Muppets Band.
Dr. Teeth.
Yeah.
Okay. As my final pick, I am gonna go with. There's a temptation for this, but I am going to go with. I'm making it up as I go along right now. I am gonna go with Mystic Spiral from Daria.
Oh, I don't know them.
Mystic Spiral was Jane Lane's brother's band, Trent's band.
Cool.
Mystic Spiral, but we're thinking of changing our name. They said it the entire show run.
Yeah. That's probably the only reason I remember them, is that bit.
Yeah, we're Mystic Spiral, but we're thinking of changing our name.
All right, so
Mark,
so both my 3 and 4 for is still there. So I'll go a little bit. I think this is the name of the band. I didn't have time to double check, but I'm going to take Stillwater from Almost Famous.
That's a good one.
Headliner.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think they're Stillwater, but they were third on the list there.
All right, Dan, what closing out your show?
All right, so I need someone to keep the momentum going, someone that the people our age know very fondly, and would just like hammer it home. I'm going Powerline from a Goofy movie.
Okay, that's good.
That's good.
That's a good one.
He has the one song, but that song's a fucking banger.
I was thinking as my final pick, it was going to be Figrin Dan and the Modal Nodes, which is the Cantina band from Star Wars.
Playing jizz?
Playing some jizz.
Yeah, so my number 4, and thinking about it now, probably would have been a better fit with the rest of the lineup if it was actually building a lineup, just from age and type of music, was Sex Bomb from...
Yes.
Yeah, I saw Sex Bomb and I was going to pick up, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not a big fan of that movie itself. So I was like, I feel like I'm being a phony by picking it, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, Stillwater was number 3 because I was almost assured that one of you was going to take that one.
It was on the short list.
Yeah. So when it was still there, I'm like, well, I got to trust the board. That's why I make the board.
That's right. I had Sex Bomb on my short list.
Yeah.
As well as Mouse Rat from Parks and Rec.
Mouse Rat. Sonic Death Monkey / Kathleen Turner Overdrive / Barry Jive and the Uptown 5 from High Fidelity.
Yeah.
Autobahn from Big Lebowski would have been a good one.
That would have been funny.
Like I said, because we had a discussion about what exactly bands we could use here. So all I wrote down for the one you mentioned, Ant, was I just put High Fidelity Band. Yeah. I could not remember any one of the 3.
Marvin Berry and the Starlighters.
Well, Back to the Future.
Yep. Eddie and the Cruisers, of course. You could stop yelling it at your phone, Tom.
Yeah.
Steel Dragon.
Before we had decided to do the third segment this way, I had as the lead singer Mark Wahlberg's character from that movie Rockstar, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach Wilde was in that band.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've seen him sing karaoke drunk.
Oh, damn. What Jen would kill me if I didn't mention the band from Jennifer's Body, the one that makes the pact with the devil. And
Low Shoulder.
Yes.
Low Shoulder. That's a good one.
Damn. I'm sorry, Jen.
Through the Trees, man.
That's such a good song. They're donating all the proceeds to the victims of the fire.
We got Infant Sorrow from Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Into the Creek.
The Sorrow Suckers.
Yeah. Drive Shaft from Lost.
Yeah, I didn't know if the Barden Bells would count.
Counts, they're a band.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I love that because I'm looking through this list that was on Reddit, and somebody named Flight of the Conchords, but I'm like, they were a band before the show.
Yeah, they're kind of not fake. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, these are some solid festivals. I will not go to any of them because festivals just sound like a nightmare.
Tickets are very expensive too.
Yeah, we're getting Dr. Teeth back together. That's
of course
that's a lot of money.
You're talking $200-$300 a pop here. So parking is going to be a nightmare.
And I also enjoy going through this Reddit list here and realizing the age of these people probably answering these questions because half the bands so far have been from Disney Channel original movies.
There you go.
All right. That is our episode. Want to thank Dan for his triumphant return.
You're welcome.
And, we're going to get out of here. Check out all our socials, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, all of which are TickTam Pod. They Called This a Movie on TikTok while it still is there. If you have questions, comments, hit us up at ticktam@gmail.com. Suggest a movie to us. Tell us what your fictional movie band festival lineup would be. And yeah, hit us up on YouTube. Check us out on our YouTube channel. Give us a 5-star review in your podcatcher of choice. Helps out a great deal. And that is it. We're going to get out of here. The director of Beat Street is Stan Lathan. So for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony DeVecchio telling Stan Lathan, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you? Thanks for listening to They Called Us a Movie. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at TickTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. You can also check us out on TikTok at They Called Us a Movie.